Yeah, because that really sounds good.
Nah, it's deep. But Paul, man, welcome to the podcast. How do I pronounce your surname?
Otote.
Otote. Yeah, solid, man. I like that. You've been a vegan for a hot second, right?
Yeah, it's plant-based. It's eating earthy.
Eating straight from the ground.
Eating from the ground. That used to be my rule back in the day, you know. Like, I will only eat it if it's grown from the ground and has one ingredient.
Is it?
Yeah, that's how my rule started. Don't get me wrong, I've swayed from that a little bit.
Well, by adding meat to it or just eating it if it's
Nah, but it's eating like... So there's a difference between food and products, if you ask me.
Okay.
So a product could be like, I don't know, like a fake meat. That's a product.
Yeah.
You know, because it was produced in a factory.
Oh,
whereas
yeah,
chickpeas or something is just dried. That's not a product.
That's
food.
I see.
So how I originally used to eat was mainly foods. But now, if I see a product, I might give it a try.
Little taste
me,
yeah.
Before I used to avoid it. I'm talking 4 years of nothing processed.
That's mad.
Nothing out of can.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I tried mushrooms properly, cooking with it. I normally used to wash my stuff with like some liquid to make sure there's no pesticides. This is how militant I was.
What sort of liquid was this? What, water or just?
To be fair with you, it was just soap, man, soap. But in my head, soap was better than the pesticides because soap has been tested. It's on plates.
So you're using soap to wash your food,
fruits and stuff like that. Yeah, just to get all the stuff off it. And I remember because you know mushrooms ain't got a layer of skin on top of it.
Yeah.
You can't do that with mushrooms.
Yeah.
So I threw them away. The first time I bought mushrooms, like to actually try cook with it, I threw them away. Because I was like, you know, I can't wash this properly. So that shows the mindset I was when I first started my health journey.
But what kicked that off though? Like in terms of not just the health journey, but the actual going vegan. Because most people must tell you, like, how can a vegan get this hench and be deadlifting 300?
You know what? Back when I changed my diet, and it's something I think about quite a bit. Yeah. It just wasn't a YouTube thing. You know, it wasn't a visual like, oh my days, look at me, I've changed my diet. You just kind of do it. So when you just do it, you're not aware of people's comments and people's conversations. Yeah. So like, I didn't know what veganism was. I didn't know what plant-based. I just knew that, hey, look, I want to eat a certain way. I want to eat like, I don't know, people were eating like 5,000 years ago. Yeah. You know, when they were living certain ways, right? That was my ideas. So I didn't.
But it must have been a triggering point though to get to the idea. So like, was it something that you saw? Was it like a documentary that triggered that thinking?
Nothing really happened to me. I just started asking a lot of questions, and I started doing self-experiments.
Oh, okay.
So for my whole life, for example, I ate a certain way. I said, hey, I'm gonna cut out one thing for a bit, just see how I feel. And
what was the first thing to go?
I cut out milk and cornflakes. It wasn't like I was cutting out milk because it's dairy. I was just cutting it out because I literally ate it every day without fail. For me, it was a balanced meal.
Part of your staple diet.
With a little dipping bread in the milk or some caveman ish, you know what I mean? So once I cut that out, I noticed a little bit of changes in me, which actually sparked me wanting to research further the relation between, for me, it was like spots and pimples and milk. And then once I saw, right, there's actually a connection between the diet and your skin, then that might spark off another question. That sparks off another question. Then I started learning more about diseases. I started learning more about, you know, why certain things happen in certain countries, why China, they might be less likely to have heart attacks, but South Africa, speak. Oh, yeah. You know, that relation. So I asked a lot of these questions, and I made a decision that one of the key factors was food, right? So I decided, before things happened to me personally, I'm just gonna make that step. Yeah, 100%. And before then, it was no titles. I used to call myself Dungutarian. It's like, I'm my own thing. I don't know about what them man they're doing, you know what I mean? That was it, you know. For
real? They just jumped on it straight from there?
Straight from there, brother.
But how does that work?
I haven't looked back a day.
Yeah, and how do you feel though, like, in terms of like how you felt before that and after? What was the immediate, like, feel like in terms of your body?
I didn't really think about it in terms of immediate. You know, I wasn't analysing. So when I made, because I did stuff gradually as well. So even though I cut out red meat and pork very early,
still having chicken?
I was still eating fish mainly, and I have chicken like once a month. Yeah. And then I guess maybe each of those steps I felt different, because in my head I only do things that make sense. When it starts making sense, you use the information you have at the moment and decide where to go next. Yeah. So in my head, alright, cool, it makes sense. Like, I feel good. You know, certain things are changing within me. you know, I feel like
you feel rejuvenated and energized.
I feel up.
Yeah.
You know, bearing in mind I had anger issues at certain points. I wasn't the friendliest. You know, I'm not saying there's a correlation to food, but some of the research I've done shows some sort of correlations, like when they starve rats of certain nutrients, some of these rats that are family members wanted to kill themselves.
Oh, for real.
Then I started thinking, right, like in ends there's this kind of foods, there's lack of people are chronically.
So there could be a correlation between.
Do you know what I'm saying?
100%.
So certain things that I was thinking. So when I cut out certain foods and I replaced certain foods, I did feel that those differences, and that's actually continued.
Oh, wow.
You know.
Yeah, it's funny you actually said that in terms of like the violence in the food and stuff. I was actually watching a talk prior to you coming here, and the guy was talking about how early stage nutrition in children and babies can determine their level of intelligence and their temperament. Yeah. So he was talking about like if you watch so now there's been the debate about IQ amongst races, amongst continents and countries, that they vary based on where you're from. And the research is finding out that a lot of it is to do with the nutrition that we're fed at an early stage. And if you're not given any nutrition at all, you're going to be nowhere in that competitive ladder. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're already a step behind, a major disadvantage.
Yeah. It impacts you quite a bit. And from what I've seen, I can't remember what I've researched now, but it even starts before like the child is born. So what are you doing during pregnancy? And I find research on pregnancies interesting in terms of like how, whether the trend is going up or down, where there's birth defects and stuff like that, and how that's even in relation to any other things that we're doing from a nurtured perspective. But there's some people who advocate that obviously planning for your kid and saying 6 months before I want to have a kid, I'm gonna switch my diet
up the diet.
I'm gonna, you know, because at the end of the day, I see it from a logical perspective. If as a woman you had a baby right now, and the body had a choice, save you or save the baby, the body would save the baby and kill you. That makes sense.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So like women surviving childbirth is low if there's complications.
Yeah.
I might not be articulating it well, but you get what I mean.
100% get it. Yeah.
But the same thing is from a man's perspective. So if you want to think of what the most nutrient dense thing that we have within us, it's the seed.
Yeah,
do you get what I mean?
Yeah. You got to protect those.
You got, you know. So you got, if you want to give the seed the best fighting chance to actually do your thing, you need to be making sure it has the nutrients that it requires. That's something that I find interesting anyway.
But what is it about meat in particular that has a detrimental effect to our body? Because I love meat. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I love meat too. I loved meat. Yeah. Can't remember what it tastes like now.
Serious? How long ago was it since you last had meat?
For like 8 years.
For real?
Yeah.
No, that's sick. That's
mad, that's it. Funny thing is, like 8 years, bro. Where does it go?
Yeah. The struggle must have been real though initially, like to wean yourself off of meat, because I can't see myself weaning myself off meat anytime soon.
Do you know what? For me, it's like, I think how my mind works is slightly different. Like there's certain things within me that like switches. So imagine when I was doing a lot of my reading, when I was doing a lot of my learning and understanding, a switch changed where I can't see certain things how I used to see them.
Yeah.
So when that switch changes, there's no I miss. You know, it's just now, I don't know, I think it's to do with my upbringing as well. When certain things happen, like whether you take L's, the L's been taken. Now is a now.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like
So you just keep moving on. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
So there was never a time where I said to myself, "Bro, I could do a chicken wing. I could do a meat." I just literally
once you cut it off, it was cut.
It's gone.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, then back in the day, you're with a girl, and then she says something that pisses you off, bro.
Yeah, you're done.
It's done. I ain't gonna think about you again.
Yeah, for real.
You know what I mean? But that's just how my mind works.
Yeah, no, that's a solid determination way of thinking.
Yeah, it's a very weird way of thinking, but that's just me.
You know what's so mad? Because I've always like dabbled with the idea of going vegan and stuff like that, and like going plant based or earth based, as you like to put it. But my fear was always that I wouldn't be as strong, or wouldn't be able to, like, if I was to want to put on weight, I wouldn't be able to put on weight as naturally as I want to. Like I was under the assumption that if I wanted to consume protein and it came down to having like an earth based diet, I'll have to eat a whole tree. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, in order to consume the amount of protein required for my body to build. But that's what actually like drew me to your content, because I was like, right, okay, he's completely vegan. He's still able to look the way he look and lift what he lifts. So what is that? What is it about like the plant-based diet, and how do you balance getting the nutrition that you require in order to gain the size that you have? Because that's the only thing holding me back right now from even considering. I'm like, I don't want to turn out all skinny and like weak and tired.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Like I don't know many people in the industry, right? So maybe it's a bad thing. I don't really do the pre stuff much in terms of who's doing what. But I could imagine there's some people that are looking like they can dance through the rain.
Yeah, and those are the ones that I tend to come across when I'm looking at content online in regards to
you need to cut your meat, bro. Cut your meat.
These times, man, so skinny.
You know what I mean? But on the opposite end of the spectrum, there's guys who literally eat pure meat, pure chicken, pure fish, and everything, and dance through rain too.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you know what I mean? But I feel like sometimes when we look at people, we judge the whole spectrum by what we see. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, if you're a meat eater, your spectrum's wide. No one's gonna say you're skinny because you eat meat, and guys who are big, they're gonna probably say you're big because you eat meat.
Yeah.
Whereas people who are plant-based and things like such, like, they're probably getting judged by the small spectrum of what's visible to you.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
But I know there's probably other people who are big that eat how I eat. But for me, bro, anything's possible, man. Anything's possible with understanding. You know, one of the early things I did was I did research into what optimizes the body. Oh, yeah, so by that I mean it's like what nutrients. I had to learn. I literally took it step by step. I actually made a document, Excel document, where with all the nutrients the body requires and what food sources I can get them from. Right. I've literally stuck with similar sort of food sources, but this document I ended up actually releasing it as a book.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that. Yeah, because I know you got a book regarding that as well.
Yeah. So I ended up giving that out. It's like, you know what, this might benefit some people, but with understanding, bro, you can do anything, man. Yeah. You know, if you said I want to cut out meat or I want to cut out chicken, but I'm going to replace it with something like this or something like that, you understand how to track your macros or how to tweak things slightly. Yeah. And then for me, I realized that you need a lot less protein than you think you do.
Yeah,
you know?
I think when it comes to the gym world, it's always like what's pushed on us is protein. But that's probably coming down to obviously the companies wanting to make money from the products that they're selling.
People are making money.
That's all it is.
What is protein? Yeah. I always think about it sometimes. Like when I think of protein in my head, I'm thinking of some powder like whey. I don't know if anyone else agrees with that. Like, I literally see protein, but it's not that. Yeah. What is protein? Yeah. I mean, obviously I get what proteins are, amino acids, but in terms of like a visual look of protein, you associate that with meat,
100%. Because whenever I think of meat, whenever I think of protein, I'm thinking a big slab of steak or chicken. I'm not thinking about the powder and the chemical content of it.
Exactly. But the life source of that protein and stuff is in everything. Like collagen, all of that. There's the life source of protein is in everything. Greens to chickpeas to everything else.
But then what's the equivalent though? Like how many pieces of chickpeas do I need to have to get maybe like, I don't know, like a leg of chicken?
I guess as good as
that's the thing. So I'm always under the assumption that I have to consume so much of it, which is probably not even the right assumption. But another misconception that we tend to have about vegans is that vegan food tends to be expensive and it's tricky to prepare and put together. Is that true from your experience?
I think eating healthy it depends how you do it. It can be cheaper or it can be more expensive. So by that I mean, like, if you're the kind of guy that eats out all the time, it's gonna be pricey for you. But then again, if you eat out all the time eating meat, like, it's gonna be pricey for you anyway. But if you plan your meals, you cook for yourself, you wake up like back in the day at uni, I used to wake up at 7 or 6 every day. The first thing I do when I wake up is I'll cook. And I cook enough for the day, so I cook bulk foods like lentils, chickpeas and stuff like that. And then I eat some in the morning and I package some to take with me to the library and stuff during the day. Times like that, you can £30 a week, £20 a week, you're good.
Oh, for real?
Do you know what I mean? But that's like discipline and stuff. Whereas if you want to eat lavish and, you know, eat mangoes all day and stuff like that, you'll be spending an arm and a leg.
A lot, yeah.
I remember when I was addicted to mangoes, man. I was spending £3 on a mango. I'm talking the juicy
one from the market.
The ones that look like the sun. You peel it and it's like, rah, like, God is in this. You know what I mean?
I know about it.
So, I don't think it's that. I think everything is as pricey as you plan it to be.
100%.
You know, you can always do stuff with what you can afford, especially if if the basis of your diet is bulk foods, like staple foods, stuff that people have been eating for centuries, like your lentils, your quinoa, your beans, your amaranth, like stuff that the Mayans were eating, stuff that is like grains that are grown in bulk.
So historically, those type of products are like proven.
They're cheap, they're nutrient balanced, and you know, some of the strongest people, if you look through history, who were part of the army and stuff, these guys had to eat like what the paupers eat in some regards, like these grains that are easily cultivated but on the land. These foods are the most nutrient dense.
Oh, for real.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I was reading, I think somewhere in one of your bios, I'm not sure how old this bio was that after you finished uni, you were offered a graduate job, which you turned down to start off your first tech company. Can you tell me about that company? I know you didn't go according to plan, according to this bio. What was that?
Could have been millionaire by now, bro.
Oh, for real? What was it? You should have stuck to it, man.
Do you know what it is? Yeah? So when I came out of uni, I knew I wanted to start a business, man. I knew I wanted to start a business, and I always felt that's where my heart was. And I had to battle with the fact of, am I gonna take this grad scheme, which made sense, and it's something I even think about now. Like, it made sense, like 30k starting. After 2 years, it's gonna go up. I'll get all my experience, all of that stuff. Or I thought to myself, the other side of that coin is, I would love to do something where over the course of my lifetime, it can outlive me, in a sense where I can be a facilitator to create something that benefits the wider, whether that's a business or, you know. I was like, alright, cool. In my head, this is what I said to myself. Like, I'm going to sacrifice about 8 to 10 years, and just see what happens. Yeah. You know, very, very risky stuff.
Yeah, no, it's hella risky, but I think it's more fulfilling in the long run than doing something that is just a case of you turning up to pay the bills for.
Yeah. Do you know what? It depends what your lifestyle is. So, something I never really discussed before, but when I was younger, I wasn't. It's like the people around me, we had money. And I wouldn't say money like rich money. We had money relative to the people around us. So, like, when I was like 17, I was wearing like designer clothes, things that in hindsight, it's not to even glorify, because I should have been investing that money. I was wasting money on jewelry and clothes. So the point I'm trying to make is, the perception of me growing up was like one of those guys. So for me to actually forego actually making money, to say I'm going to strip life to a bare minimum, I'm going to live very minimalistic, like, there's a whole other mental side that comes with that. So I'll give you an example. If I placed my personality on those things, so I placed what makes me me on the car I drove, on the clothes I wore, how would that journey affect me? Do you get what I mean? So these are stuff I have to think about. But anyway, cut long story short, at uni, the first thing I started was a juicing company. It's called Dungu Juice. Sick. Yeah, if anyone who followed me for about, I don't know, a couple of years will see the whole Dungu Juice journey. So I was doing juicing up and down the country.
What sort of juices were you doing?
Like fresh juices. I was always into health. So initially I changed my lifestyle. I wasn't a talker. I'm not a very... I'm all right now, but back in the day, I wasn't a good talker.
Welcome to the club, man. Even though I'm hosting a podcast now, I'm never the greatest talker.
This is teaching us how to speak, you know what I mean? How to be more articulate and stuff. I'm still working on that. But I was always a doer. So instead of me saying, hey, you know what, this is good for you, I'll be like, hey, try this. And you'd be like...
It's alright.
Do you get what I mean? So I was like, alright, cool, how can I do that in reality? So the first thing I started was Dungu Juice. Started off at an event we did at uni called Lake Wave. Then I did Carnival. I did different festivals. And I also did like a DunguBook launch event. That was October 2013. When I was like, cool, I'm going to start this properly, YouTube everything. And at that event, up until that event, I was also doing weight loss coaching. So for me, I've always been interested in further learning. So the first qualification I got out of uni was like a weight loss diet diploma, something like that. Something I don't really speak, probably no one even knows. You know what I mean?
But something you done on the side though, were you planning to take it somewhere?
I wanted to understand the body. That's really it. I just wanted to learn. I think I did it in like, I did a 6-month course in about a week. It's like, alright, cool, I want to understand the body more. And because I was always into weight loss, because I'm naturally chubby. Like, I lost weight
for real?
a couple of times, you know, and I think weight loss is like the back of my hand for me. I can make anyone lose weight.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
How about putting on weight? I'm trying to get hench out here.
Yeah, I mean, I can help you too, bro. The point I'm trying to say is that, like, after doing the coaching for a while, I ended up putting on this event where at the event I had some people that I've coached who happened to be on each table. And I realized how the conversation centered around them and my journey with them. So I was like, you know, these guys are kind of like, they're coaching the table. You know, they're providing energy to a group of people. And then it struck me that I can provide a service online that facilitates those kind of combos. So I have like coaches, personal trainers, and them being able to have conversations and help people through an online platform. And that was the idea of something called Dongu, which is DonGU.com. Do not give up.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Do you know, when I initially saw that, I thought maybe that might be a part of your name that you've taken out. I didn't know there was an acronym to it.
Do you know why? Because in my head, I didn't really get Startup Land. So I wanted to build an all singing, all dancing platform. I'm talking, it had social features. Literally, you could add friends. No, I actually built this, by the way. It had social features. You could add friends. You can like FaceTime each other before FaceTime through the computer. So you can be in Japan as a coach training someone in America through the website, you know. But because it was called DunguBook.com initially, like taken from my YouTube channel name, I realized there's no platform with book in the name that exists, because Facebook will sue them. They'll send them a cease and desist letter, and that's a wrap. You
don't want to battle with Facebook.
I don't want to battle with Facebook. So I was like, alright, cool, I'm just going to buy another platform. And then luckily I was able to buy dongu.com. I was bare gassed. I think I spent like $6 on the domain name. Bear in mind, like,
you have to buy it off someone else.
Yeah, I have to buy
them ones.
I'm gonna sell it when I'm ready to sell that. I'm gonna sell that for at least 5 Gs.
Yeah, easy.
Because it's a 5-letter domain name with 2 vowels in it. I'm waiting for that to someone to give me a right offer. Anybody want dongu.com?
Someone might be watching it. That might be wanting it as well.
And then basically, what happened was I pivoted the platform to actually focus on employees. So I started targeting HR departments. I actually started getting some traction. So I had about 46 personal trainers, getting up to about 300 users, give or take.
And how long into setting up did you start getting these numbers?
Like, it's a long journey, man. I would say like over a year. So the first platform that I built, I spent 3.5K on it. It turned out to be rubbish. I hired some guys in India. Then I actually built another platform with some other guys in India, which came recommended this time. And I spent like 15 Gs on it, man. It was crazy monies. Like all my savings went into that project. So I spent like 15 Gs on that. And then what I did find after speaking to my consumers was, which I should have done all along, like if you're building a tech platform,
speak to the consumers.
Speak to your consumers. Don't be shy about the feedback, because that's where the gold is. So when I finally sent the email around and said, look, what do you guys really think of this? Essentially, the feedback was the steps to actually complete an action were too long. So if you wanted to speak to your personal trainer, so I had something called food logs and workout logs. So you think of MyFitnessPal before they blew up. So MyFitnessPal, but the people who can see what you're logging is personal trainers. So they can see what your food, they can see your workouts and comment on it day to day.
So it's not like an AI system.
That is real people. The people behind it is real people. And I was I'm just saying this because I was very gassed by that idea. At the time, I thought I was a genius. So I was redoing the personal trainer model where instead of you charging 1 hour, let's say whatever your fees is per hour, you split that over the course of a week. So if you charge £50 an hour, it's £50 for a week where you give 1 hour of your time to someone.
I see.
So 20 minutes for your live video. Then 40 minutes of checking your logs throughout the week. Keep going, John. Cut down on your sardines or whatever it may be.
That's under the assumption that they're logging in every single time.
Exactly, but that's too many steps to do that. Gotta go on your phone, dongu.com, log in, go to this. Too many steps. They were like, it'll be better as an application. I was like, 20 bucks.
That must have hurt.
You know, my thing is, at the time, I never get pissed about it. You just keep moving.
But did that money like involve them redoing it? Like,
what do you mean?
The developers?
Yeah, The new platform
you
I
have to pay
built
them again to
was
redo
the platform I built the second time was all done from scratch.
Oh.
The designs were the same, but the actual code and stuff was done from scratch.
Yeah.
So this time around, I'm like, nah, I'm not spending a penny. I'm gonna hire a CTO and a lead developer with sweat equity, because it's a proven concept. So I just need someone else to believe in the vision.
Yeah.
And what I did at that point, I was like, the first guy who said, yeah, I'm down, brother, I'm gonna help you. I was like, you're hired.
Yeah.
But what happened was, it wasn't a good turnout on my fault. My fault is I didn't see what was going on, in a sense where I didn't see how slow the progress really was. So after like a year, there was actually no progress really with the actual building. It was a platform that didn't really work.
But was you making money during this time? Were there clients that were actively paying you or nothing?
Nah, I shut down the whole platform.
Yeah.
So what I did at this point, instead of I shut down the platform whilst the app was getting built. But what I did, I created some landing pages and I was pitching to companies whilst the landing pages was up. So I had like letters of intent from companies saying, look, I want to buy into this product. Boom, boom. When you do this, do you get what I mean? So I had a demand for a product that wasn't built yet. Damn. But over the course of a year, and then after a year, there was literally no progress. It was still garbage, in my opinion. I was like, nah, man, I've lost the love for it. And guys who started after me have sold their companies. Do you know what I mean? There's a guy called, I can't remember the company name, but they've done well. They got bought by what's this fitness? Weight Watchers. They got bought by
they had similar products,
similar product.
The game.
They had one element of mine, which was like, you can take pictures. So my food log was pictures. You take pictures and the personal trainer comments. So they focused just on that. So they had coaches looking at the actual foods you upload. Think of Instagram. But the comments is coaches. And they sold dope idea, the execution, flawless, design, everything. So I guess the point I'm trying to say is I had to just shut it down and realised, looked at my account, yeah, man, I am broke.
Yeah.
You know, there's broke. And there's broke. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I'm broke.
So you're itching every morning thinking,
bruh, I look at my account like, nah, something's got to change.
Yeah.
But luckily, throughout the journey, people saw what I was doing. I was very visible. You know, it's got its pros and cons. I was very visible with what I was doing. So people ask me, how'd you get your design? How'd you get a website? How'd you do this? How'd you do that? And I pretty much saw an opportunity to make a side income at the time by connecting these people with, you know, designers that I've met throughout the journey. And that side income basically turned to my business now, which is a company called StartTeck.
Oh, sick.
StartTeck, where we're a design agency and then we work with startups, SMEs, mainly companies that target, you know, the Generation Z, Generation Y, that tech.
Is that consultancy or are you offering packages?
We do packages. So we actually help, we do consult, but we actually help bring the ideas to reality. So we call it purposeful design. Yeah. So that's that whole journey basically, and that's what I do now.
It's actually amazing what you're saying, because when it comes down to like entrepreneurship and like being an entrepreneur, that's what it's about. Sometimes you might have this vision that this is the business you want to do, but it's actually going to take you a completely different direction.
Mate, you don't know.
And as long as you have that willpower and that ability to keep going.
That's why I never tell anyone that idea is terrible.
100%.
I just tell you not to try it, because that terrible idea could open the door and say, yo, this is what it's supposed to be.
What it's supposed to be,
Because I hear some terrible ideas.
You're like, keep going, bro.
Try it, and you might learn something and pivot.
But then feedback is also good. Like, obviously, if you see something that's like dead, because people throw ideas at me all the time, and like, what I tend to do is I always give them that positive information. That,
but that's the thing. Don't tell them it's terrible, but you give them something.
Give them something, to
give them something to think about. You know what I would do? I think about, boom. I would actually talk to my customer. Because for me, like, I'm not your customer. Certain things you do, I'm not your customer. You know, like a good friend of mine, he's a musician. He makes like R&B music. He sends me music. I give my opinion, but at the end of the day,
you're not his customer.
I don't listen to R&B.
Do you know what I mean? What you listen to at the moment?
Well, I listen to I don't even listen to music much, apart from when I'm in the gym. But if I'm in the gym, it's got some UK music, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Some real, you know,
drilly stuff.
Do you know what I mean? Not really drilly stuff. I like there's some. I think the whole state of UK scene right now just it's a dream. Yeah. Because I've been on UK music from like 2005.
Oh yeah, I've been on this.
Not grime. Before, grime was cool, but I'm talking rap, like PDCs.
Oh yeah.
The old school
SMS
gigs. All of that stuff. You know what I mean? So seeing it now is actually wild.
Yeah, 100%.
So I listen to a lot of that stuff.
Oh, sick.
D Block Europe and stuff like that.
The new track is
You know what I mean?
New or home is it called?
Yeah, home cats.
Yeah, home cats.
Lions.
Home pets and home pets. Yeah, those that don't know.
I like that because they pushing the boat out in the sense of what's cool and what's not.
Yeah,
do you know?
And what's taboo and what's not. I remember when it first came out with like the whole talk about like cats and stuff.
Yeah,
and everyone's like, "Yo, whoa."
Yeah.
But then they pushed it so much. It's like, okay. Now I'm kind of expecting it from them.
Yeah,
I get it. I'm okay with it. I'm comfortable singing along with it. It's cool.
It's just like it's,
you know what I mean.
You're
it's
pushing
not
it out, and that's how your industry grows. Because in America, they talk some stuff.
Oh yeah, they talk some madness.
They talk some real detailed stuff, and it's like, yo, kids, close your ears.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it's the thing because we always I think humans as a whole, we always reward bravery. We reward people that step out of
the first to do something.
To do something, regardless of how radical it is or how controversial it is. When you step out and do something, it was like, oh, okay, it can be done. Or I was possibly thinking that but I wasn't scared, brave enough to do it. You know what I mean?
Off the door.
Yeah.
Now let me try to do something different.
Definitely. We always reward bravery. But so as we were talking about, obviously the music that keeps you motivated. What else motivates you in terms of like your business and your health transition and journey? What are some of your motivations? Because you seem like someone who's done quite a lot in terms of like business and personal development and change. Like, what keeps you triggered and motivated?
It's a tough
like, what's your why? Do you know what I mean? Because that's the magical question now, isn't it? Everyone's wondering what their why is.
I
like,
think
why do they want to do what they're doing?
I have like a why basis, right? And I also have a why that maybe changes. I feel like everyone's got sides to them.
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
Sometimes I have a side that literally just wants to ball out, buy jewelry, and do like this in the club. I don't indulge a side, but I do have it.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
And that why could be, cool. I want to actually make a ton of money. But to be fair, like my why is, you know, I just want to be great, man. I just want to do great things. I want to leave like a legacy. I want to have an impact. To some respect, I just want to do things that are bigger than me, and I feel like I've always been like that. You know, take care of my people, take care of my family. That's my why. I really, do you know? I feel like sometimes through history, those who've done the most for people, they never really get recognized, man, until years after.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's like, you know, certain people died poor and they died unrecognized.
Most of our great leaders did.
Yeah.
Most of the people that we talk about
impacts,
historically.
later live on, then they got to start getting spoken about, and then that's when people really understood the greatness of what they were doing. And I do find that interesting because the book I'm listening to on the way here, it spoke. I was listening to Outwitting the Devil. You heard of that book, Outwitting the Devil?
No, I've heard of it, but I haven't read it.
It's by Napoleon Hill, the same guy I think.
Oh yeah, Napoleon Hill. Yeah.
I'm only on the first chapter, and when Dale Carnegie, I think or Andrew Carnegie, gave him the mission to research great leaders of the world and research them and write a book about it, he said it will take you about 20 years, right? You might not even see the benefits for 20 years, but this is something that can actually give you rewards for 100 years after you passed. Do you get what I mean? Like it can give you rewards for 100 years after you passed, and it's pretty much been like that.
Yeah, 100%.
But that thought of 100 years in the future is a crazy thought for me.
Yeah, because you want to be here to enjoy it. You want to ball out and enjoy your hard work now.
I want them to give you the roses while I'm here, bruv.
Yeah, no,
but I do find that fact interesting, and it's stuff that I consider in sense where, you know, what we are getting older, and the things that we do have, you know, they do have an impact, a ripple in this world, and what do we want that to be, or what do I want that to be?
100%.
And that's why, you know, I think about it a lot, and it does keep me going, because I do want to start off whatever I finish, and that's a weird obsession of mine. It's like I could have quit at that point, got a job, or whatever it may be, but I just feel like I've started something, I need to finish it, and that's one of my whys.
Yeah, no, that's impressive, man. I think one of the conversations I've been hearing a lot in regards to like people that are doing stuff, people that are trying to be like inspirational and stuff, is wanting to be on the right side of history. Yeah, so that's one of the sayings that's coming out now a lot, especially in the intellectual world. It's like whatever you're doing later on down the line, are you going to be on the right side or the wrong side of history? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You might be under the assumption that what you're doing right now is great because you're living a particular type of lifestyle, but then the influence on the people that it's going to have along the line, is it going to be good or bad? Yeah. It's like technology now, for instance, like social media. We don't know if it's on the right or the wrong side of history. We really don't.
Time will tell, man.
Time will tell. The moment we're enjoying it, and we're starting to see some of the symptoms of it, like depression, suicide, and in particularly women, is having like a major effect on them, like body issues. So like in like 100 years time, are we gonna hear like there's gonna be like this mass exodus of people coming out of social media because of the effects having on our lives, or is it gonna be the revolution that changes us for the better? We don't know. So it's considering what side of history you want it to be on. Yeah, definitely. And that played a part in like the direction I took with the podcast as well, because I'm like, okay, what am I trying to leave behind? Like, I've gone through a lot of experiences. I've learned a lot of things. There's a lot of great people to learn from and to listen to and to have conversations with. Like, what type of people am I trying to bring around me, and what type of content am I trying to put out there? So my thing is like, what part of history do I want to be on in the long run? Even though I do want to enjoy the part that I'm alive.
It's a bit weird, isn't it? It's that balance, bro.
It is.
I want to get lit too, bro.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, I'm definitely with you because that balance is key. But sometimes I feel like, having an impact on one person. Like, let me backtrack. When I got rid of all the design and stuff like that, don't get me wrong, I still have a few, but nowhere near enough. Nowhere near what I used to have. It was actually ridiculous. But when I stopped wearing it and I started being it, in a sense where, like, instead of me putting it on me, I would eat it. Yeah. Like, I'm eating good food, I'm feeling amazing. Yeah. But the actual feeling amazing, you can't see that.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? You can't be like, yo, guys, like, I'm Gucci.
Yeah.
You can say that now, but you get what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So, like, even with the podcast, like, you are impacting somebody right now, right? You might not be able to see that, or it might just be a one. Like the view, it might just be one. So, like, it's nothing to stunt about, but the person on the receiving end is huge for. Yeah,
most definitely.
Did you get what I mean? Yeah. So it's like that balance, like what we were speaking about before with like the metrics and stuff. It's just like getting that balance right.
It's interesting you said that about like when we put on the Gucci, it's like you're impressing the outer.
They can see the Gucci.
They can see the Gucci, but at the end of the day, it's like when you come to the realization that you're not actually doing it for yourself, as in the health thing. Because wearing the Gucci and not being healthy, it's fine. It's fine wearing luxury stuff. It's absolutely fine.
Nothing wrong with that.
If you can afford it, if it's your lifestyle, if you like it, and you've got the money to buy it, cool. But then it's different knowing that you're doing something for yourself internally, which is better for you.
It's weird because
it's such a weird place to be.
You can't see that. Yeah. You can't see the internal. You can't walk up to someone and say, "Yo, you are Gucci." Inside. Like, do you know what I mean? You're Whereas you can see Gucci. And I remember, like, when I was younger, I was never into large labels. So even in my old pictures, you won't really see nothing too flash. But some people are, and then you gotta start thinking, all right, cool. Are you wearing it because of the large label, or are you wearing it because you like it, and you like it because you can see it? Yeah. If there was no sign on it, would you still rock it? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's
strange because a lot of that obviously is to impress other people. Do you know what I mean?
And we tell ourselves it's not.
Yeah. well, it is, because else you wouldn't wear it.
What's this book I finished yesterday? It was called Start With The Why. And essentially, Start With Why is the name of the book. Can't remember the guy's name. I listen to a lot of audiobooks, by the way. That's why I quote these things at random. What he said was, like, we make a lot of emotional decisions, and then we use logic to rationalize it. Yeah. So the emotional feeling of, like, buying certain things, or the attachment to brands and that being aligned with the lifestyle or how we want to be portrayed, the rationale behind it, we use logic to try and define the feeling. So we might say, "Oh, wait, it looks good," do you know? But mate, when I was in school, because the trainers, I bought some trainers recently. Bruv, kids were wearing that in school, and they were called high tech.
Yeah, I remember high tech stuff.
Do you know? I used to get party in primary school for wearing high tech. But people wear high tech now with design labels in it.
Yeah, 100%.
And you know what I mean? Even I fall into the trap of buying one. It's weird. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But the whole sense of self, we rationalize it because, this is more comfy. But there's a lot of emotional,
Do you know what? One thing I realized, particularly with myself, I've never really been into major brands. Like, I like nice stuff. I like you know what I mean, a nice designer in certain brands and stuff. But I think what I done to counteract that is like I created a character around myself, which enabled me to roll comfortably without having to show what I've got. Do you see what I mean? So it's like I can wear whatever I want. I can wear a pair of shorts, a £2 t-shirt from Primark, and I'll carry myself so confidently that people believe in whatever it is
facts.
I'm doing, because
you could be.
Do you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, as I got older as well, and I started achieving certain things, or I started experiencing certain like successes in businesses and other things, people that knew about it, they kind of like accepted and respected me regardless of what I was wearing on the outer exterior. Yeah. So I could roll around in like the worst car or the worst tracksuit.
That is real living, though.
Nonetheless, people know that you're actively actually doing something constructive with your life. They don't judge you based on what you're wearing on the outer exterior, because like, okay, I know he's about his business, I know he's about his work, I know what he's about, so he doesn't have to show us. Do you know what I mean?
That level of confidence is deeper than anything else. Yeah, because it all comes from within. I had to like, I've always thought, even when I was going through this phase, right, of literally wasting my money, I've always thought that regardless of what I wear, because don't get me wrong, the stuff I wear is only why I'm going out. If you see me in my area, you think, nah, this guy's I should give him a pat. Do you get what I mean? But
the struggle's
my confidence doesn't come from all of this stuff.
100%.
You know? It doesn't come from all of that stuff, and that is why some of the stuff that you've accomplished is deeper, because you didn't need the extravagancies or the extras.
Yeah.
It could help maybe, because life is all a game.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it depends what game you're playing as well.
Precisely, you know, fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
But life is a game. But that level of confidence, that's real depth, because you know, life is not. It might just some of the stuff I think to myself. Nothing's guaranteed. In a week's time, we could lose it all.
100%.
You know, we can go back to minus. Like a lot of great people who've made history, money-wise, they've lost L's. Like, got
definitely.
To minus 100,000.
That's where the best lessons come from.
But imagine being minus 100. I couldn't even imagine that. How would I walk up and say, "Yo, bro, how you doing?" Do you get what I'm saying? But that's where the real confidence or the other self, as they call it, comes from. You know, it's inherent in you, as opposed to the physical attributes. And some of us mask pain, or we mask certain flaws in our character with certain things. You know, even though it's nice to have, I just find some of the psychology behind a lot of our actions interesting, because I've lived it. I'm talking strictly from my own personal point of view, you know.
And I think one thing that particularly helped me is that I mean, when I first started off like reading and researching and stuff, a lot of the people that I follow in terms of like inspirational people I found, they all played the long game, and they all talked about like the importance of like delayed gratification.
That's a hard thing to understand.
It's hard, and it's hard.
I'm still trying to learn it now, bro.
No, delayed gratification is real, because I mean, sometimes you might be the assumption that, okay, I'm going to ball out for these 2 years and it's going to feel good and great.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, you're going to be broke for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Or you're going to be struggling for the next 10 years. But then if you put in the grind and the hard work for the next 2 years, you're going to be chilling for the next 10 to 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? But it's hard when everything around us is forcing us and perpetuating this whole idea that we need to be shining and flashing.
Especially on social media, man. Social media, you know, I realized that, you know, if you want to pop off on socials, you got to do the image thing to some extent. You need to, if you're a guy, by the way, woman, you can show. If you got image thing. When I say image thing, I don't necessarily mean brands, but at the end of the day, social media is a visual platform. So you need to be giving people visually appealing stuff and what people aspire to see and how people aspire to have. And that is to some extent.
True. That's very
what
true.
people aspire to have. The majority of people, we think different because maybe we've seen the other side, or we understand that the long game is real, and like time is such an interesting thing because 10 years sounds long.
That sounds long, yeah.
But I remember 2009. Yeah. Like it's yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in my 30s now, and I remember when I was like
in your 30s, man.
You sound like a little 25-ish and that.
Younger than me, bro. Nah, okay.
I remember like having a mad conversation with one of my boys. I was like, oh, do you know what? When we hit 30, we're going to do this, that, and we're going to be here. And we're like, oh, no, that's far away.
That's great.
Do you know what I mean? That's square up there. It's like,
what? You 30? You're old.
You're old. But I'm thinking, Ray, I've never felt as sharp as I ever had in my life. Like in terms of all the lessons I've learned in life now, it's all making sense now. Do you know what I mean? And I'm able to put it together. I feel stronger now. I feel more confident about myself. Like 5 years ago, I couldn't be sitting here having a podcast.
Yeah.
I feel nervous about the whole situation. I wouldn't even know where to start having a conversation with random. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you, bro.
And I get it now. I'm like, the long game isn't really that long. You know what I mean? If you make the right decisions now, what you're going to reap from it later on is going to be incredible. Because now I'm thinking, raw, when I hit 40, I'm going to be doing this and this and that. But now I'm able to think long game and make the right investments and right movements to put myself in a better position.
Is there like a trade-off for you though? Is there something that you feel like you're foregoing?
No, do you know why? Because when I was young, I lived. Like, not even when I was young, like, but I've lived throughout. Like, so as
still enjoy the process.
Yeah, I've enjoyed the process. Do you know what I mean? And I've accepted and embraced the process. And I've made mistakes. I've spent money on things I shouldn't have spent when I was younger, but I appreciate them now. I don't regret it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I've taken some major L's, but I'm thinking, no, do you know what? I've enjoyed this process.
Story. It'll be a good book.
No, 100%, 100%. And the thing is, I think one of the things that helped me is like I traveled a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, growing up, me and my boys, we had a circle of us. There was about 5 or 6 of us. Like, we went to a lot of countries, near enough 30. Right. So it's like we've experienced a lot. We've gone through a lot. So that gave me the enjoyment, as per se, that I needed. Do you know what I mean? In order for me to really realize that.
Yeah, I get
you.
Yeah,
and to get out of my system and to learn from it, and to grow from it as well. So. Yeah, but then there are stuff that like luxuries at a young age that I've definitely forgo. Like I'm not into the whole idea of buying big cars because I understand the process of leasing and hire purchase. So I've always kind of veered away from that. That's one of the things I'm thinking. Okay, maybe I should have enjoyed some madness in my mid 20s, and I did in the early 20s, but like late 20s, like there's a few things that I could have done. But now when I think about it on a financial point of view and an investment point of view, I'm like, do you know what I mean? It doesn't. It really doesn't.
One of my uncles, he's a G, bro. Knowledge wise, but he's got property literally all over the world. And I just always know. At one time I was with him, and I realized, bro, this guy doesn't have a nice car. He has a car in every one of his houses. But he doesn't have a nice car. I was like, Uncle, like, why are you not into cars? You know, it's like, cars have never really made sense to me. I mean, he's into property. I'm into property. Like, I like things that make me money. If I really wanted a nice car, I would rent one for the weekend,
100%.
just to get out of my system. But I've never felt the need to. And I've just found it interesting.
He understands the point of asset and liability, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the first lesson you learn in business. Like, what's an asset? It's something bringing you money. What's a liability? Is it taking money from
I learned that. I read the Robert Kiyosaki.
Rich
I still bought the car. I guess you
still want to live in it. Do you know what I mean? You still want to live.
You see the thing about, and some people will listen to this and take something from it. The thing about a car, right, especially when you're young, that you don't realize is you think you buy the car, maybe you get the insurance, and that's the game done. But there's for some particular reason, when you're young and you buy a nice car, you're like a magnet. So whether it's for parking tickets, because it's only 2 minutes. I'm gonna run into the shop quickly. So. Ticket,
I once paid £60 for a Ribena. I know how that feels like.
that Ribena, you gotta drink it slow.
I'm like, I got a ticket for this Ribena.
Do you get what I'm saying? So, but then, servicing, all of that stuff, and there's a lot of like liabilities that come from cash down. Like listening to music, it will make you feel like an idiot for I don't know, lease option or for paying monthly for a car, but. It's something I had to realize later on. Like, look, if I'm paying £200 a month, instead of me putting, 15 G's down, I could actually put that 15 G's into nutmeg. That 15 G's might even make me £1,000 or something pound. That's a win, or that could even cover extra costs for the. You know what I mean? I could actually pay the interest through that way.
100%.
And then there's so many other ways in order to play the car game where you don't lose money as to what is told to you. And I think cars young, depending on your mindset, is where your finances get messed up from 100%. Very young age.
Your credit, missing out on payments. And so, one of my boys, he's actually family, but he had a really inspirational story in the last 18 months. So he was driving a mad car. I think it was he's probably gonna come on this podcast soon, and we're gonna chop it down. But he was driving a CLS, and he was living in a yard in Hackney, paying mad. It's expensive renting out there. And his outgoings was ridiculous, but nonetheless, he was living good on the outside.
Visually.
And we had many conversations about, and I had just bought my first place, and we were having many conversations about properties and stuff. And he something hit him, and it was humility. And he was like, you know what? I'm gonna be humble about my life and my situation in order to better myself. So I'm gonna try and cut back on so many things, and I've got this goal of purchasing a house within the next 18 months. So what he done is he let go of the car. He jumped on a bike, like motorbike.
That guy's a G, bro.
He's a G, no, trust me. And then the second thing he done was to move back to his mum's house straight away. And you got to imagine, this is someone who's about to hit his 30s, yeah? So to do that in the eyes of the world, yeah, requires a lot of courage. Because you got to meet people are looking
building. People are looking like,
you're driving the most flashiest car, living in a house and bang in the middle of Hackney Central.
And there's always the friends that want to make a comment like that.
Do you know what I mean?
What come from my man?
Do you know what I mean? Oh, what, is he going through something? But that move was so humbling, and within 18 months, yeah, he's bought one of the nicest yards I've seen in a while. Like his garden is out of this world. He's got like a 3-bedroom property. A legend, bro. And trust me, it hit me as well. I was like, no, do you know, this is the type of humility we need in order for us to really build and properly develop.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes like we look like we're living on the outer,
but it's not that.
It's not living.
Humility is a interesting thing. You know, a lot of these things I still feel like I'm learning. You know, like obviously life is a long process, and I've always thought about money sometimes and how humility can bring in money. So I know guys who say they ain't got a job, and I always think about it like people can make money from a lot of different things. There's right now a guy in my area, him and his friend both have ranges, 2 ranges. They think it's car wash. They have car washes. They start off with one and they just grew it.
Oh, for real.
But I was like, do you know how much humility you need to start a car wash?
100%, especially in our community.
Yeah,
because
like,
to us, business. I mean, let's be real. In the black community, business means something flashy.
Yeah, it's cool.
You know what I mean? It's cool. It's flashy.
You know what I mean? I remember when I was doing my juicing, there was actually a point where I had to think to myself. No one ever thought this but myself in my head. Like, bro, like, is this moist? I'm being dead real. I get it. I had my apron. People were like, oh my, this probably doing so well. But I had to think about it. Judging by whatever stupid standards I'm setting up on myself. But, you know, the lack of, like being more humble within yourself allows you to start from scratch. 100%. And nobody wants to start from scratch. From what I've seen, it's harder to what your guy done. That's why I rate it so much. He's a done. I'm going to a bike. A bike.
Trust me. From a ghost white seal, it's real. One of the best quotes I heard about humility is like, humility stoops to conquer, and I've never forgotten this quote. I heard about 10 years ago.
That's a lit one still.
Like, trust me, humility stoops to conquer. Like, in order to really conquer, you got to really go low down deep. Like, growing up, one of the most well-to-do families around me was one Asian family, and they used to supply meat to a lot of like the markets and in shops and stuff. And the dad who owned the company, I've never seen this guy clean. I've never seen him in nice clothes. Whenever I see him, he was at the back of a van wearing the white apron full of blood. Do you know what I mean? Like, from dropping meat. I know you're a vegan and you don't really talk about meat too tough.
Cool, man.
I'm joking. Like, literally, he was like covered in blood, like driving from A to B. But this was a dad who bought his son a Bentley just to go uni. Do you know what I mean? So when you see him on a day-to-day, you might be thinking, oh, this guy's dirty, he's a tramp. But that's his humility in what he's doing. Because he knows that he's building something
that's bigger than that,
Yeah, 100%.
I know a guy, when I was meddling with like that service accommodation stuff, as I told you about, a guy introduced me to a landlord, right? This guy has 300 properties between him and his sister, I believe. If you looked at him on the street, you'd be like, nah, fam. You know what I mean? There's no way in hell you can guess that. 300 properties.
Mad.
You know, his portfolio is in...
Maybe
I'm exaggerating with 300, but it's definitely over 100.
100, wow.
But yeah, he walks, everything he does is very... you wouldn't expect it. Do you know what I mean? No. But I just find that interesting because at the end of the day, he knows what it's about.
Definitely. You know? And the focus should be on the work. If that's what you're inclined to do, you're inclined to build something, then that's
why it's important.
Yeah. What does health and well-being mean to you? Like a health, well-being, and wealth.
It's just about like oneness, man. Being complete. You know, there's this quote I used to use: "Health is the complete well-being of the mind, body, and spirit, and then not just the absence of illness." Because there's a confusion between health being the absence of illness, which it isn't, because you can not be ill today but be ill tomorrow.
And it can be dramatic.
Exactly. Like things can happen quick, and things that happen quick happen over a long time. But you just don't notice. That's what it means to me. It's like a complete oneness. mind, body, spirit, and completeness, contentment, happiness. Yeah.
No, definitely, because I mean, I've always been someone that worked out, and I do martial arts as well. I do jiu-jitsu, been doing it for a hot second now.
Sick.
And to me, I felt like, okay, so I've got a weird thing with health in terms of like my food intake. I've never really consciously paid proper attention to it. Like I know what I need to do when I'm trying to put on weight. I'll just be loading up on pasta, rice, a whole bunch of meat. Like I've never really paid attention to like getting the right veg, the right nutrition. But my excuse has always been that, okay, I do enough exercise, I'm active enough to not worry about that. But I know there's a danger in that, isn't there?
Yeah, therefore. The body is like super intelligent. The body. And one of the conclusions that I formed when I was doing my research initially was that the body is super intelligent. It does nothing by accident. So if you place your body under a very negative condition, it will say, hey, based on this situation, I'm going to try and do this in order to get well. It's like fighting to be well. And the fighting to be well can lead to a lot of different symptoms. So the point I'm trying to say is like, you can be exercising and doing the output right, but the input and what your body's actually doing with the things you're inputting in you could be leaving things in you where it affects you. Like I give examples. One of the things I researched a lot was like inflammation. Inflammation is very useful for the body. If you cut yourself today, it's going to get inflamed. That's very much part of the healing process. But inflammation extended puts the body under a lot of stress.
Oh, okay.
So inflammation extended. So if you hear a disease that ends in itis, like arthritis or bronchitis, all of that, it's literally the inflammation of. Oh, okay. So arthritis might be the inflammation of the joints, you know. Yeah. So one of the ways stuff like that could happen is by how the body detoxifies. And one of the ways that it's said the body can detoxify is through every hole in the body, which is, as you know, you spit, your eyes in the morning, excretion. But you have holes inside the body as well, like joints and things like that, where waste buildup can build, and the detoxification process leads to swelling. Oh, okay. Because now this place is inflamed, you have inflammation in your body. That's just one example of inflammation. So even though your output might be good, what's going on in terms of build up inside your body might be the complete opposite. And that's something I find interesting.
Wow.
And inflammation is actually not just that. Like inflammation is like you can be stressed right now, chronically inflamed, and that can manifest its way in your body through a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
So
no, definitely. That's one thing I've realised a lot recently as well, that stress does cause a lot of illnesses.
Stress is like top 3, man.
Yeah, definitely.
And stress is a downward spiral because you get stressed, the body reacts in a certain way. As I said, the point I was trying to say, the body's very intelligent. Based on the situation it's in, it will do things to actually try to get well, which might lead to effects like maybe trying to get rid of waste, might lead to inflammation in these. So stress is a downward spiral because in the body trying to get well, it might put you under conditions like, I don't know, your memory goes or you feel more fatigued, which makes you more stressed because you're thinking, why am I, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Then that downward spiral commences and where that leads to, if you don't break the cycle, can be a very dark place.
Does workout help you like stay stress free?
Yeah, I mean, what it does in the brain has been studied for years, bro.
Yeah.
If you can exercise uphill walking resistance, is one way to help the body cope with stress. 100%.
Okay, well, uphill resistance?
Yeah, anything resistance or cardiovascular.
Oh, okay, shit.
Stop.
Yeah, because martial arts definitely helps me. Like
feel good hormones, man, it's facts.
Definitely. Anything to do with like putting my body in like uncomfortable positions, but then triumphing and learning new skills, like and constantly keeping the mind ticking definitely helps me. Yeah. That's why I'm always out for these challenges.
That's when I quit lifting, which maybe in the next couple of years I'll quit.
Oh, you're gonna quit completely?
I'm not doing this forever, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go from bodybuilding per se to more like fitness.
Oh, okay.
Like flexibility, all that stuff. It's gonna be an interesting transition.
Damn, good luck with that, man.
Like all that stuff is good. Like jiu-jitsu, for example, how it combines the left side and the right side of the brain because you're functional in how you're moving. Yeah. All that stuff is lit, bro. That's what I'm gonna get into.
No, definitely.
Yoga, breathing. I'll be a monk. Real spit. I'm gonna travel Asia.
You'll start getting into meditation and that's
it. I'm trying to do that meditation stuff now.
Yeah, I've never really been a big fan of meditation myself.
That when I've
got a weird reason why.
Tell me about it.
My reason. So I don't know. I tend to find meditation tends to change people.
Yeah.
Like I've come across a lot of people that meditate a lot, and holistically they become different people. I like who I am. Like I like the way I go through different emotions of like stress.
Why do you say it changes people though? Like, give me an example.
Okay, so the idea behind meditation is to get yourself into like a spiritual and holistic mode whereby you're sort of in control of like your emotions and your surroundings and everything. I don't know how well that works for me as an individual. Do you see what I mean?
You basically you good.
Yeah, man. Like it's not like I don't go through stuff that I dislike, but I feel like when I go through stressful periods or periods where my mind is just going crazy, it's a part of a learning process which I enjoy.
Yeah, I get you.
You know what I mean? I enjoy the very crazy emotions of the world and things that gets thrown at me. Yeah, but I think because the thing about me, if I delve into meditation right now, I'm gonna go all in. I'm gonna go gun ho.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
You basically told me before you're a hard worker.
Yeah, so I'm gonna end up probably you see me in a robe in West End chanting like the rest of those dudes.
I think there's meditation, and a lot of reasons why people change is the lifestyle around meditation. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
For me,
definitely.
it might not be meat that made me healthy. It might be the fact that I cut out junk. You know, it might be the fact that I stopped listening to negative music. You know, there's a lifestyle.
But then I like some of the drill. Regardless of some of the
I went back to. Don't get me wrong. I cut certain things out for a bit because I really had to like get one with myself.
Yeah,
I wasn't meditating. I didn't know all these terms. I didn't know, but I just knew that there's something within me that if this carries on, it's gonna go to a dark place. You know what I'm saying? I had to. That's around the same time.
See, that means you're conscientious, though. You're self-aware of yourself.
From a kid, I've been always very self-analytical.
I think people that are very conscientious don't. I wouldn't say don't go meditate, but I'm very conscientious. Like if I do something wrong, I thoroughly analyze it. I'll think about it. I'll examine it.
One of the main reasons for meditation, though, is brain health, and that's something I've been very much into for the past 3 weeks. Like my latest post on Instagram is about brain health because I've had to understand that a lot of things that happen to us aren't accidents, it's signs. So whether your short-term memory is reducing, like you're forgetting names, it seems normal because everyone happens to everybody, but it's not, and it's like a symptom of something that's coming later. Because you meet some guys
that scared me because my short-term memory started to I had a podcast recently with a guy who's a memory coach as well, and I'm starting to practice a lot of like, some of the things that
the brain is what the connections that get made in there. Like that's why I'm more into meditation now, and I don't think it changes you per se. I feel like meditation, it depends how deep you can go. You know, I know one guy's book I read was Headstrong, which is an interesting book. And he doesn't seem like he's changed into like woo-woo. There's woo-woo guys, you know, dance around the tree. Guys like us, we can understand that, but we can never be that, you know, because we come from a different space. Like we are individuals in a sense, you know. We're not. That's just me being.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, no.
We're individuals. How we think, we're alone in our minds. Like we're unique in ourselves. But the point I'm trying to say is like meditation. It helps just the brain. You know, it helps the. It doesn't change you per se. Like for me, for me, meditation isn't like oneness and control. It's just being still.
I get that. That I'm good at because I like being in my own space. I like, you know what I mean, processing my thoughts and
giving the brain shutdown time.
Giving it shutdown time and stuff.
Not non-thinking. Like meditation is some people is like thoughtless meditation where you're trying not to think. You know, but being still and letting the brain take the brain. Fire away it fires, but bringing it back to a state of like, okay, I'm gonna think of one thing for a bit. You know, that for me is meditation. I might sometimes when I'm closing my eyes, like I'm a visual person, I might walk around my house. I might picture myself as a giant walking down, trying to picture things. Because all that doing, if you can picture it in the mind, is making connections. It's relaxing. It's just because how many thoughts do we get a day? You know what I mean? Like right now I'm thinking, yo, I should be working. You know, your brain is fired. So that's one thing I'd say. Like I'm not the master, right? But I've definitely see some of the benefits.
There's definitely gonna come a stage where I'm gonna probably look into a bit of meditation and stuff like that right now. But at the moment, I like the adrenaline rush running through my brain.
Yeah, to slow it down. You're the chief, fam. That's why we in there, you know.
Anyway, tell me a bit about DunguBooks. Like, what was that about? Like, was that a health? What was the book about in general? If you just give me an overview.
Joe, the name is funny because when I got the name, I never intended on writing a book.
Oh, for
the
real?
book came like 5 years later.
Yeah.
You know, it's just funny how the world works.
Yeah.
Really. So it was the DunguBook initially. I dropped it there after I watched The Social Network.
Oh, the movie.
Yeah. You know, when it says drop it there, it's cooler.
Yeah.
Drop it there, then it became DunguBook. Like if you go on my YouTube, it's still the DunguBook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like the URL.
Yeah.
And the name came from like when I was younger, people used to call money Dungo. When I got to uni, I started saying Dungo. People started calling me Dungo. Then I used to say a lot of quotes because I've always been this guy that read a lot.
Yeah.
I used to say a lot of quotes. People would be like, "Oh, that's rule number 10 out of the DunguBook." So because I'm a very private person, naturally, I'm a very private person. You know, I wanted to do something that's out of my character. This is me trying to become a better person in a sense. So I was like, I'm starting a YouTube channel. When it came time to figure out a name, I was like, you know, I like that name, the DunguBook. You know, DunguBook. So I called it the DunguBook. And then I guess over the course of me sharing a lot of things, I started to get excited by, you know what, let me backtrack. When I first started, the YouTube beat was there, yes. I was doing like my pull-up stuff, my dip stuff. These are all my old videos. Like I've hidden the majority of them now. And then I used to also answer people's health questions on Twitter as a faceless brand. It was called the DunguBook. People used to shoot me a question like, "Oh, how do I get rid of my asthma?"
Yeah.
And then I would answer it. But whilst I answer it, I also used to create documents. So I have documents for like 6 diseases.
Yeah.
From like arthritis. I wrote one on cancer. It's not going to be shared, to be fair. It's just like me to understand some of these illnesses. And I guess the point I'm trying to say there is some of these things that I writ, like weight loss, ended up being the foundation of the book that my first book. Which was like a collection of a lot of these pages of the years of stuff that I've written, whether it's like weight loss or whether it's like my juice and stuff, and my getting into herbs, because I started getting into herbs. So I used to always write things down, and then I started realizing a lot of the books that I'm reading now were written like 100 years ago. Like some book called The Crowd I read was written in like 1912. I'm like, bro, that's 100 years.
So all this information was here.
Exactly. So for me, it's like, cool, I want to create stuff that could last a bit. So the first one I put out was the bodybuilding one, and because obviously I didn't eat meat, people started calling me vegan. I was like, cool, I'm going to go with that for a bit. So I called it vegan bodybuilding, made simple, put that. And then some people started saying to me like, yo, I want to try what you're doing, because they see how it's working for me. So it's like, you know, if you want to do it correctly, here's how you do it. So I put together my nutrient guide, which was my second book.
No, sick.
Yeah. And then I think my third book was...
I didn't actually know you had 3, by the way.
4, bruv.
Oh, 4. That's amazing.
Yeah. It's weird. It's like the balance of metrics and actual use of benefits. So I can't say they're bestsellers, but they've impacted a lot of people from the emails that I've got from all over the world. So it's like balance, you know what I mean? The third book I wrote was a business book. So after my business failed, I thought, look, let me understand a little bit more about how to do this correctly. So I interviewed maybe about 25 people and got their thoughts, and I used their quotes to write
business
a book.
personnel.
Yeah, business people. Mainly people I knew, and I reached out to a few people on LinkedIn. I gave that away for free. It's called Starting an Online Business Made Simple. You know, but now it's on Amazon. Don't think anyone buys it though. But anyone who's read that book, I'll put the link in the bio. Anyone who read that book is golden. And then my final book, the 4th one, is my herb guide, which is like such a dope book.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check those out. What's the long-term plan though? What's the long-term goal?
Long-term goal is, I guess, what I'm working on now. So how I've always been is I've always segmentalized things, right? So I've put my company in one category. I've put my personal things like DunguBook in one category. I guess my long-term or my medium goal now is to combine it. So allow what I'm doing in my personal life to benefit my company, and allow my company to benefit me. So whether that's to do with my actual vision, which is to help the world, enable the world to become healthier, help enable people to master their own well-being. So my goal to do that now is to actually enable companies who want to do that, and actually enable people who want to actually achieve their own well-being. And that's how I'm gonna combine both.
That's it.
That makes sense?
Yeah, it makes sense, man.
So
that's
companies who wanna get into food, help people become healthier, or help people become more mindful. I'm gonna help them, whether it's through StartTeck, whether it's through consultancy, whether it's through their branding elements, how to brand appropriately to the people that I actually speak to anyway through my personal life, because that's who they're going to be targeting, the tech-focused individuals, like the bell curve, those guys on this side. And then my personal brand is I'll still keep growing that to more of a school where it's like a propeller. Everything I do, I feel like I'm an enabler, a propeller. I help people just kind of propel and grow, whether it's the health, whether it's like the whole business element, whether it's like just the resources and knowledge or connections through the community that I'm building. That's the goal.
Oh, that's it, man.
That's a long articulation. I'm gonna have to write that one down and read it back. Like, that sounds kind of lit.
No, it sounds lit. That could be like your mission statement going forward. No, that's absolutely sick, man. Like, it's been an absolute pleasure even talking to you for this short period of time, considering that today was the first time we met.
Yeah, and, I mean, we brothers already, man.
Yeah, already in it. That's how it goes, in it. Do you know what I mean? There's always the assumption that us black brothers don't get along in it, but it's a misconception. Do you know what I mean? There's so much wealth of positive people out there doing great stuff like yourself. But one quick advice before you leave. So if you had to give an advice to, let's say, a young aspiring individual wanting to get into like the health market, wanting to live better life and more fruitful, meaningful life in terms of like the food that they intake and the lifestyle they live, what would that be?
I think just don't procrastinate starting. My next book I'm going to read after I read this one is called Aim, Fire, Ready, something like that. And it's basically about, starting before you're ready. Yeah. So when a lot of us want to get healthy, we say to ourselves, I'm going to start in 2 weeks. Yeah. Where I think if you're going to start something, start it today, start small. And then start small and build up on that. And that's my advice. Whatever you're doing, you want to get into the health business, cool, start speaking to your customers today. You want to be healthier. The first time I wanted to lose weight, I was always chubby. I decided I wanted the six-pack. I wanted to lose weight. That same day, I signed up to a gym. For real? That same day. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't wait for nobody. I didn't say, yo, cuz, what do you think about this? I signed up to a gym, and that's my mindset. Start now, start small, and then learn along the way. Start before you're ready. That'll be my first.